Every educator or counselor knows that moment when a kid walks into the classroom or into the office just a little quieter than usual. Maybe they're holding a note or a picture or a small keepsake, and you can tell that they're trying to stay strong, even though someone they love is very far away. As a former educator and licensed kid therapist, I've seen some of these moments up close. And I've learned that while we can't always find the perfect words, we can offer stories that speak to their hearts. And that's exactly what Deployment, one of our pieces, is missing by Julia Cook, illustrated by Tamara Capone. That's exactly what this pictured book does in a very open and gentle way. It talks about what it's like when a piece of the family is gone and what it takes to stay connected while apart. So, this story follows the main character who's a young boy whose father is deployed. And at first, he struggles to adjust. He's very proud of being in a military family with mom and dad in the military. But when his father goes away, it's as though a piece of their family puzzle is missing. He struggles to adjust and he talks about at first being sad, but then being mad. And then his big feelings show through his behaviors at home and at school. So, throughout it all, his family finds a way to deal with the sadness and frustration and confusion of wanting their dad back, but also needing to figure it out and making up a new normal for themselves. Over time, the family finds a way to really bridge the distance by marking countdowns and just having small routines that makes their home feel hopeful. But what I really appreciate about the book is that when the dad returns, although the reunion is joyful, it does bring upon new challenges because then the family puzzle pieces have shifted over the course of time. And now dad has to find a way to find his place again. The story is truly a powerful reminder that deployment affects everyone and that coming home is also its own emotional journey. This book is very powerful as the family again has to find a new way to fit their family puzzle pieces together. And it's really great for kids around 7 to 11 years old. And older students from military connected families can also connect deeply with the story's themes. Now, whether or not a child has a parent in the military, this book, Deployment, one of our pieces is missing, opens up important social emotional conversations. For kids living through that deployment, it reinforces the pillars of self awareness and relationship skills as it helps them identify, express, and manage these big emotions while making some meaningful connections. And then for students without that experience, this book really builds on the SEL pillar of social awareness, of empathy and perspective taking. Reading it around Veterans Day or Memorial Day helps students understand the personal sacrifices behind the holidays themselves, and it brings real connection and heart into classroom conversations about service and gratitude. So, how can you use this book in your own settings? For teachers and educators, you can read this book aloud during Veterans Day week or maybe a Families Around the World unit, depending on your grade. You can start discussions with questions like, what does it feel when someone you love is away? And how do families stay connected even when they can't be together? You can also do class projects where students write letters or make cards for local military families, not just the military folks who are away, but also for the families so that they can be seen and loved as well. For counselors, this book could be used in small groups or in individual sessions as I use it to help kids process separation, relocation, or any major change because the theme of the book can really be adapted into different situations. You can pair it along with activities like creating a family puzzle where each piece represents someone important. And then you can also try journaling or reflection prompts about connection and resilience. And then for parents and caretakers, you can read this book together at bedtime, perhaps, and talk about feelings that come up, especially if your family is going through it. And you can create small rituals like a nightly message jar or a photo countdown to help kids really feel close to a loved one who may be deployed or who may be far away. A few notes and insights about the book, by the way. Some of the book's pages rhymes while others don't, which I feel like it slightly interrupts the rhythm when reading it out loud. So I do suggest for you to preview the text ahead of time to help keep the pacing up to help it feel more natural. But what does stand out the most is the honesty of the book. The author, Julia Cook, doesn't just gloss over the hard parts, the worry, the adjustment, or the awkwardness of the return. She really balances these truths with comfort and with hope for the family. And by the way, even for adults with no connection to military life, this story really builds empathy and it's like it's a window to what families experience quietly and a reminder that presence matters far more than perfection ever does. So the book Deployment, one of our pieces is missing, reminds us that love doesn't fade with distance. It just finds new ways to show up. It also reminds us that resilience isn't about staying strong at all times. It's about staying connected, asking for help, and holding on to hope until all of the pieces come back together. For teachers, counselors, and families who want to bring some compassion and some understanding to children navigating separation, this book is a must have for your shelf. And you can find it in the affiliate link below, along with other SEL favorites that help kids name their feelings and find their calm. If you like this SEL review or other books published by the National Center for Youth Issues, make sure that you check out the playlist so that you find some more. And as always, remember in a world where you're free to be anything, you are always free to be mindful. Catch you next time.